First up, bananas.
Now, why is it that you only sell one type of banana? You know, like with an apple, you get like a Cox apple and then you get a Braeburn. And if you're lucky, you'll get a Pink Lady. Those are my favourites.
I mean, you do get a choice. I mean, you get, like, eat-me bananas. You get everyday value bananas. West bananas is just a banana.
Yeah. Just sitting here looking at my bananas, and I thought, yeah, they're all the same. They're just all...
They are all boring. They're all yellow.
Yeah, all yellow, sitting here like they own the place, and you think, well, there should be at least a couple different varieties.
Bananas are just like strawberries.
I'm on a quest to get to the bottom of why there is only one type of banana for sale in the supermarket. Dear.
I think bananas really taste the same. Some personal pass your comments on to our buying department.
Pass it on to the top banana.
Kate's headed to one of the countries where the world's first edible bananas were discovered, Malaysia.
Wow, it is hot.
Kate's en route to a plantation just north of the capital, Kuala Lumpur. Here they grow the Cavendish banana, the only one available in most British supermarkets.
These don't look very healthy. Look at the state of them.
Kate's arranged to meet agricultural expert Dr. Ting Su Yen.
Your banana plants all look pretty ropey. So what is wrong with them?
Cavendish here is very susceptible to Panama wilt disease. What happens to the plant itself is the yellowing of the leaves.
The trunk of the tree
yes.
is just splitting.
Yeah, and eventually it will just collapse. Yeah.
And how does this tree contract this disease?
This is in the soil, and it enters into the feeder roots, and it gets into the plant.
And is there anything you can do about it?
Unfortunately, no.
Because Panama disease is a fungus, it thrives in Malaysia's warm, wet climate and has decimated plantations all across Southeast Asia.
There might be one day when I go to the supermarket, there's no bananas and they're not coming back.
Probably, yeah.
Probably?
Probably, yes.
That's pretty serious, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
Can you imagine a whole fruit wiped out?
Wiped out, yes. The extinction of banana, yeah.
Could it really be the end of this banana? And are there any other varieties? Kate's off to the capital's main market to see what's on offer.
I'm looking for banana.
Banana, you want banana inside?
Ah, look at these, hey?
Just like apples, they've got over a dozen different varieties on this stall alone.
This one, darling, this one small one, this one local, gold banana.
It's much sweeter, you know?
Very sweet, yes, really sweet.
Amazingly, there are over 1,000 varieties of banana in the world. But all of them are susceptible to this banana blight. Does this disease really have the potential to kill off the world's bananas? We'll find out later. Next up, cod. Brits eat over 120,000 tonnes of flaky white fish a year. We were told that we'd overfished the North Sea, so cod and chips was off the menu. But there's no shortage in the supermarkets. So where's it all coming from?
I've bought some cod, and I thought we were a bit short on cod, but you've got loads of it. So I just wondered, where are you getting it all from?
That was a very good question. I couldn't even tell you where it's from. I was just about to hazard a guess, but I'm not really sure.
I mean, is it like locally caught? I mean, not locally, but is it?
I really don't know.
It would be British, though, wouldn't it?
I really don't know. Anywhere between, like, Scotland and America.
Wow, is it really? He must fish out far.
Anything else could help you with?
No, that's it. Unless you want to cook the chips, but that's it.
No, I'm a terrible cook.
So where are we getting our cod from?
Hi there, you must be Tracy.
Hi, Jimmy.
I'm off to the Chippy with World Wildlife Fund fisheries expert Tracy Cambridge.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Thanks, Chris.
So how much of our cod comes from UK waters then?
Well, currently we import around 95% of our cod.
95% of our cod comes from other countries?
A lot of it is coming from sustainable fisheries from up in the Icelandic waters. Ever since the 60s and 70s, when fishermen thought that the fish stocks were inexhaustible, the fish stocks got grossly depleted over time.
What changed for us and our fishermen in the fishing industry?
So about in the 1950s, nations started claiming territorial waters, which basically changed how fishing fleets had to operate in the Atlantic.
So there's changes in boundaries. That caused a lot of conflict?
During the period of 1958 to 1973, there were 3 Cod Wars. The conflict actually came to blows between vessels. So there were British battleships brought in to defend our trawlers. Iceland were using net cutters.
That seems crazy over fishing grounds.
Yeah. Iceland were able to get full control over the stocks within its 200 miles.
Cod was Iceland's main export, so they were determined to have a sustainable fishing industry. Britain lost the Cod Wars and access to the cod off Iceland. Today, Iceland's careful management of their fishing stocks has gained them a worldwide reputation. I'm off to find out how they've done it.
Just arrived in Iceland at the airport. Interestingly, the weather is terrible.
I've come to the docks in Reykjavik to meet one of the largest exporters of fresh cod to the UK, Svavar Thor Gudmundsson, aka the Codfather.
You must be Svavar.
Hi, Jimmy. It is.
It doesn't look like Iceland are running low on cod. They land over 240,000 tonnes of it a year.
Wow, look at these babies. Look at that one. You hardly ever see that in the UK, that size. That is humongous, isn't it?
Iceland were the first nation in the world to create a quota system to protect their fish, and their cod population has bounced back. Some of that success is down to one of the surprisingly simple ways they've been catching them.
They put bait on these hooks.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be attached to the line, 20 miles long, and they're going to be caught.
And so all these lines coming off the main line all have cod attached to them.
All have cod, yes, absolutely.
In the UK, most of our cod fishing is done with nets, which isn't as selective.
You've got a load of cod, but not much sunshine.
No, not today at least.
Next, popcorn. The British popcorn market has exploded. We spent £53 million on the stuff last year alone. But why, when it's popped, can we just not stop? And yet it doesn't even seem to fill us up. Matt's headed to the premier place for popcorn, the cinema.
Do you like popcorn?
Yes. Yes.
Do you? Does it fill you up?
No.
Do you like popcorn? You can help yourself if you like. Could you get through one of those?
Boorish, like you just keep eating it and eating it.
Go on it?
Yeah.
Go on it.
Want me to give you something?
So why do we eat so much of it? Matt's in Barnsley to see one of the biggest producers of popcorn in the country.
Hello.
Hello.
David?
Yes.
Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Nice
Lovely
to meet
to
you.
see you.
Nice to meet you. Sorry,
Lovely to see you.
Listen, I need to know about popcorn.
I think we can show you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dave and his team pop 500,000 bags a week for our supermarkets and cinemas.
Kettle where we're actually popping the corn. You don't want to get a kernel in the eye.
Each kettle batch is popped in nearly 2 litres of oil. It's then heated to 175 degrees centigrade. Inside this reinforced drum, 1 million mini explosions are going off.
This is billed as quite a healthy snack, but there's oil and sugar, I think, in this one.
There is, yes.
I mean, is that the only way to cook popcorn?
It's not, no. It is the traditional way.
Right.
And can pop popcorn just in hot air.
Where'd you do that?
So, over the other side.
So that is really healthy.
It's just the whole grain and nothing else.
This air-popped corn has 40% less fat than oil-popped. But whether you use oil or air, the same explosive chain reaction detonates within every kernel.
So, David, what is it about popcorn that makes it pop?
Inside every kernel, Matt, there's about 13.5% moisture, just held in the starch in the middle. When we heat it up to such a high temperature, that moisture gets extremely hot, reaches a very high pressure, about 130 pounds per square inch.
Right.
And it just explodes out and breaks the husk and basically turns itself inside out.
There's quite a lot more going on in this popcorn world than I thought it was.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot more to it than you'd think, Matt.
Matt's getting the scoop on popcorn and asking why it's such irresistible stuff. He's arranged to meet Century scientist Christine Barnegaud.
Hi, nice to meet you. Now, Christine, I'd like to know, why is it that when you eat popcorn,
you don't fill up? Is it because it's full of air?
Well, that's an interesting theory. There's plenty of aspects of popcorn that can make it that way.
Right.
So we're actually going to test it today.
Christine studies the effects food have on our senses, and she can demonstrate why popcorn can be so alluring.
There you go, help yourself.
There you go.
Each volunteer is given an almost bottomless box of popcorn. To distract them, our guinea pigs are going to be treated to 30 minutes of captivating entertainment.
Sausage.
As the film plays, our volunteers get stuck in. When the credits roll, time to see just how much they've scoffed.
You keeping count of these?
Yeah, I am.
The remaining popcorn is measured out to calculate how many boxes they've consumed.
3. So you've eaten over 4.
I thought it was going to be worse than that.
In 30 minutes, some of our audience have snaffled up 4 times the regular cinema serving, which could be up to 1,500 calories.
So with popcorn, there's something that is called vanishing calorie density. And this is effectively very much how the popcorns react on the tongue and melt so quickly that you need very little chewing and very little ingestion time so that it doesn't leave the time for the brain to register that you've eaten. But generally, for an average human being, it takes about 20 minutes from when you start eating for your brain to fully register that now you should stop eating. And so therefore, this is why it takes much longer for the brain to suddenly realise that you've eaten actually quite enough and tell you to stop.
It's like ninja food.
Ninja
it's
food.
kind of there and it's gone.
And it's gone.
How did you get on?
It's hard to resist when it's there.
So you've eaten basically 4 to 4.5 of those.
4 tubs. You're not cheap date, are you?
So it seems we can eat popcorn by the bucket, not because it's full of hot air, but because our brains don't realise just how much we've eaten. Back to bananas. Kate's in London at one of our largest independent fruit wholesalers.
Morning.
She's investigating an epidemic that could wipe out the banana business.
I'm looking for Richard.
Got him.
Oh, morning.
Good morning,
I'm
how are
Kate.
Richard Hickson has been keeping Britain in bananas for over 20 years.
Why is it that it is just the Cavendish banana on our shelves, and yet I've seen lots of other different types of banana around the world?
Basically, they created a genetic clone that was capable of shipping over long distances, surviving 2-3 week journeys, and then arriving on the supermarket shelves fresh, sweet and tasty for the consumer.
So you're telling me that every single banana in this warehouse is a genetic clone?
Yes, it is.
I've been to a banana plantation where there's been utter devastation, and it's killing these off.
You can't help not being worried about it. If a disease hits, we'll wipe out the entire crop of banana itself.
Should I be stockpiling these?
No. You tend to find that most of the bananas that we have in here or Europe itself come from Latin America. Probably referring to Panama disease or TR4. It hasn't reached Latin America yet.
It may not have hit there yet, but surely it's just a matter of time. Kate's got no time to waste.
We're bound for Peru to get to the bottom of whether we really are facing a banana-geddon.
Kate's headed to Piura, in the north of the country.
Just landed in Peru. I'm at the baggage belt, and a big golden retriever has just been jumping up my rucksack. He wouldn't leave me alone, and it's a sniffer dog. Anyway, the man said, "Have you got anything in your bag? Have you got any fruit?" I was like, "We're doing a story on bananas. Of course I've got a banana." So I had to hand it over.
Kate's going to a fair trade cooperative plantation to find out how so far Peru has avoided this banana blight. Head farmer Ramel Garcia is all set to give her the guided tour.
I've come to see your bananas.
Sí.
Nobody told me we were going on a bike. I've got a skirt on. I wasn't the most glamorous.
Peru and its neighbours Ecuador, Colombia and Costa Rica are now known as the Banana Belt. This plantation alone has nearly 40,000 cloned Cavendish banana trees.
Now, Ramil, I've just been in Malaysia where their banana trees are sick. They have Panama disease. You know, it's coursing around the world. Are you concerned?
Claro que nos preocupa mucho cuando estas enfermedades o estas plagas se van apoderando del mundo. Y también nosotros tenemos acá un clima tropical seco.
So is Peru a little haven where Panama disease will never hit?
El mal de Panamá es un hongo, entonces los hongos se reproducen en zonas húmedas y a nosotros tener un clima seco no permite la proliferación o el desarrollo de este tipo de hongos.
This dry climate means the trees are thriving, so harvesting is a year-round operation. Each Cavendish tree only ever produces one bunch, so as soon as it's picked, the tree is felled to make way for a new sapling growing next to it.
Look at this!
Dependiendo del sector, tenemos que jalamos mucho más lejos todavía, unos 2,000 metros.
So you're pulling bananas on your giant banana conveyor belt. He is a very, very strong man.
200,000 bananas a week are processed here by hand.
It's a giant banana bag.
The cloned Cavendish banana has been designed to be picked while still green and then ripened only at their destination. They're rinsed in water and potassium sulfate to remove the sap.
Oh, that is sticky. You see, it's all gone.
They are then boxed before they set off on their 2-week boat journey to our supermarkets. The arid climate in this small pocket of Peru may well provide a safe haven for the Cavendish banana, but the world eats a lot of them.
Coming here, you would not think for a second that the Cavendish banana is facing a global epidemic. But I can't see how on earth these guys in this small area of Peru are going to be able to supply the world's demand for the banana. That's just bonkers.
If Panama disease continues its march across the world and wipes out our beloved Cavendish, the only solution is another test tube banana, a new improved disease-resistant version. Back to cod. I'm in Iceland finding out why compared to us Brits, they've got super stocks of cod. Svavar, who supplies a big British supermarket with our favourite fish, is taking me downtown to meet the fish enforcers.
When you were saying fish police, I was expecting just one guy behind a desk. But this place is huge. It's like the FBI of fish police.
This organisation was established to protect cod in Iceland waters and ensure every boat kept within the strict fishing regulations.
Hi, I'm Jim.
Hi, Thorstein.
Thorstein.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So this is headquarters
Of the Director of the Fisheries, yeah.
Director of Fisheries, and so you guys are like the fish police.
You can say that, yeah. We can see how we monitor the ships and actually where they're sailing and what they're doing.
So up there then, what are you seeing around the coast then? What are all those little dots?
Those dots are fishing vessels that are at sea today and are fishing, and there you see their tracks. So you can actually see and analyze what they've been doing. And depending on what they're doing, you can see whether they're laying nets.
You're joking. So there's no escape. And having this control, what has that meant to your fisheries?
Well, they become more sustainable.
Yeah. If you're a fisherman, you feel like you're being spied on, but actually the fishermen can see the benefits.
Oh, yes.
Because now they've got a future in their industry. So thank cod for the fish police.
Absolutely.
Iceland has spent the last 30 years studying cod and their behaviour. Scientific research was crucial to nurturing their cod stock. I'm heading to the south coast, to an aquaculture research station to meet a cod boffin, Agner Steinarsson.
Hi, you must be Agner.
Yeah, it's me.
How are you doing?
Agner's been establishing the optimum sea temperature for cod to thrive, in the hope that Iceland can be the first nation to successfully farm them.
Look at these. This is the big boys.
These are like 4 or 5-year-olds.
Well, they got what? They're like that.
Yeah, they're close to 1 meter.
He's discovered why Icelandic waters produce such colossal cod.
So what have we got here?
Here we have 2-year-olds in 2 degrees.
Okay.
This is like the temperature around like Newfoundland, Labrador.
And what's the other one then?
That might be Iceland.
Yeah.
It's about 7 degrees. If we were to represent the UK, North Sea, we would have to add an extra tank with like 10 or 12 degrees.
So you're growing fish in tanks with different temperatures
Yes.
Yes. So why do that?
Because we want to illustrate that the growth potential is highest from spawning cod at a medium temperature, like in Iceland.
Yeah. So you don't want it not too hot, not too cold, Just right. So just like Goldilocks and the three cod.
Yeah, that's right.
So Iceland's ideal conditions and strict regulations explain why they have such a stake in the UK market. Is there any chance that us Brits will be dining on cod fished from our own seas? Back in London, I'm at Billingsgate, Britain's biggest fish market.
Hi there, you Chris?
Chris Leftwich from the Fishmongers Company is a leading light in the British fish industry.
So what's happened to British cod then? Because it seems to me that I went through a bit of a guilt trip if I ever ate cod, because can't eat cod, it's really rare.
Well, basically what's happened is that the industry have been very responsible, and they put in the various measures to actually improve the stocks out there, and they've been exceedingly successful. I mean, over the last 7 years, our cod stocks have gone up threefold.
Wow, that's incredible. So there's going to be plenty of cod out there, plenty of British cod that's sustainable.
Yeah, last week, one of the major supermarkets has announced that they're going to put British cod back on the menu.
So you might see British cod packaged as so on the supermarket shelves?
I hope not packaged. I hope nice and fresh on a fresh counter with plenty of ice on it.
So it's a lovely piece of cod.
It's fabulous. Look.
So where does the cod come from then?
This comes from Scotland, Peterhead. As you can see, the quality is second to none. Another place where you get top-class cod is Scarborough.
Scarborough?
Look at that.
That is beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't it fabulous?
Lovely.
You took that home today with your wife. I promise you'll be on a promise.
It's sold.
You will love it. It's great.